Welcome to the Healthy Swaps event this evening. My name is Elaine Mason, and wow, what a great group of people we have on the call today. Thanks for joining us. You are in for a treat this evening. We have three amazing speakers who are going to share their knowledge with us. The first one is Caitlin Cobb, who on occasion, I reach out to Caitlin and say, what would you do? What do you swap out for this? What do you use for that? And I love her knowledge. She always comes back with such great information. She's a mother of five. She's a pastor's wife. Let's see, she is, the list could go on and on and on of her accomplishments, but we just call her Superwoman. Then you're going to hear from a dear friend of mine, Allison Hodges, who has three sons, and she and I have children the same age, and she has been a dear friend and same season of life, and she's got some great things to share with us this evening. Can't wait to hear from her. And then lastly, we will hear from Whitney Mathis, who is a young mom, and she has some great things to share as well. And I can't wait to hear from her as she shares just some of the things that she's incorporated into her life and her family's life to help them on their journey to better health. And so I want to just leave y'all with a couple things before I zip up and pass it off. First and foremost is don't worry about writing anything down. We want you to kick back, relax, listen to the speakers. And if you want the notes, we will send them to you via text. So just in either the person who invited you, let them know, or you can put your phone number in the chat section. And we will send out over the next week, we will send out text messages, sending you the slides and the information. So you can kick back and relax, and know that you'll get all this great information. The other thing I just wanted to share with you is we are all on this journey of just improving our health, and none of us have arrived. I've been on this journey for 23 years. I still haven't arrived yet. I'm still learning. I can't wait to learn from these lovely ladies this evening because I know they've got great things to share, but don't become overwhelmed. You're going to hear a lot of information, but you know, if you walk away and make a few tweaks with on your health journey with what you've heard, that's being successful, and I'm excited for you. So don't be overwhelmed. Take what you can, implement what you can. You got all year to keep implementing as you go. So just don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed. We're all on this journey with you. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Caitlin Cobb, and she's going to jump in and begin sharing with us.
Thank you, Elaine. So as we think about, just like what Elaine said, as we think about making some switches, don't let it overwhelm you. We have made a lot of switches in our house, but we still have more switches and swaps to go. But we're going to kick it off talking about beverages. And I know that that can seem like a daunting thing to start switching out, but it's really not. Really, you just want to opt for beverages that don't have a lot of added sugar or artificial sweeteners or pesticides in them. I feel like coffee is a pretty universal drink. A lot of people drink coffee, and that's one of the easiest swaps that you can make. So when you're choosing a coffee, choose an organically grown coffee, something that has that USDA organic certification on it, because there have been numerous studies done showing that coffee carries some of the highest pesticides rates of all of the things that we consume. And on top of being laden with toxic chemicals, it also usually contains quite a bit of mold. And most people don't want to drink mold, but also most people don't know that conventionally grown coffee contains a lot of mold. Just one thing to watch out for when you are making swaps in your beverages: don't swap a regular soda for a diet soda. That's not actually going to be beneficial to you. And a lot of the artificial sweeteners have negative side effects that are way worse than just normal sugar. Some of them have been linked to cancer, and that's not something that we want to promote. And some of the artificial sweeteners that they use in diet beverages are even more addictive than sugar. Water is always a great choice if you want something a little bit peppier than water. I personally love Spindrift, and it's just a sparkling water that's already infused with real fruit for you. So that's a great option. And the next swap that we're going to talk about that goes along with beverages is protein powders. Okay, so many people don't realize that protein powders are often laced with heavy metals like lead and mercury or arsenic. And there has been independent research done showing that protein powders are not regulated and that they often contain these heavy metals. Protein is also normally derived from whey and casein, which have really bad side effects and can cause a lot of inflammation within your bodies. So our family uses the Juice Plus Complete and the Juice Plus Perform protein because the growers of the food use these use organic principles when they're growing the products that go into the Juice Plus Complete and the Juice Plus Perform. They also utilize third-party certifications to verify that what is on the label is in the product, nothing more and nothing less. And so that gives me a lot of peace of mind, especially because I give the Juice Plus Complete to my kids, and that's one of our favorite swaps. We swap chocolate milk for the Juice Plus Complete with coconut water. And I just love knowing that these shake mixes are safe to use with my kids. And then as an athlete, I love the Perform and knowing that what I'm putting in my body is not doing any harm to my kidneys or anything like that. It's not making my body work overtime. So the next swap that we're going to talk about is condiments. And so I feel like this can be a big one, but it's super easy because you can just make these swaps as things expire. So if you take a look at your condiments in your fridge, you can choose safer, real food-based healthy ketchup, mayonnaise, salad dressings, soy sauce, barbecue sauce, and hot sauce. Just check the labels. If you see high fructose corn syrup or soybean oil, natural or artificial flavors, cornstarch, caramel color, or other food dyes, especially any other food dyes, sodium benzoate, or other ingredients that you're unfamiliar with, usually those ingredients are just brimming with toxic additives, and they're usually also GMO. But like I said, it's really easy to make that switch. So once you see that something has expired, just toss it and grab a new one, a better option. And you can always find these options at your local grocery store, like Walmart, Kroger, Publix, wherever you shop is going to have a better option for you. And we will, so don't feel like you have to write everything down either. We'll send you some of these better options. And then the last thing that I'm going to touch on is seasoning packets. And this is actually another really easy swap. But it may not be an area that you would have thought about cleaning up, but it's really one of the easiest. So seasoning packets seem like they're innocent, and they're super convenient, but they're not actually all that innocent. So if you just ditch your ranch mix, your taco seasoning, sloppy Joe mix, onion soup, whatever you're using, just ditch those seasoning packets and switch to spices. It's going to actually save you, first, a lot of money, and it's going to save you a lot of toxic additives. So MSG, refined oils, sugar, modified food starches, and high amounts of sodiums are all common ingredients in those seasoning packets. There's a very common filler that's found in those seasoning packets, and it spikes your blood sugars. It's usually made from GMO corn, and it can change your gut bacteria. And we definitely want to have a good balance of our gut bacteria. That's our microbiome, and that just controls a lot of things in our body. And so it's really easy just to make those simple switches in your seasoning packets, and it is going to save you a lot of money if you're making your own. And I'm going to turn it over to Allison to cover some more.
Okay, so let's talk about cooking oils. And any of you that are up on the latest health thing, you have probably read a lot about cooking oils and how they can be inflammatory and very dangerous to our health. So what we're going to do is ditch refined oils, and that is like canola, sunflower, vegetable oils, and we want to switch over to unrefined oils such as olive oil and coconut oil. And the reason why is that refined oils are extracted using heat. The process is gross and it involves treating the oil with various chemicals. The oil is also subjected to a deodorizing and bleaching process. So there's a lot of corruption behind the rise of these oils, and the idea that these oils are heart healthy is very outdated. So check your pantry and either throw out or phase out your refined oils and just use this slide. What, like we said, we'll be sending it to you, and make the healthier choices to the unrefined oils. Also, we'll be sending an article with more information about that. And then the next thing we're going to cover is baking ingredients. And you know what? Who wants to give up eating baked goods? I certainly don't, but the good news is that we can enjoy baked goods. What we're going to do is we're going to ditch our toxic ingredients that we've been baking with, and we're going to switch to healthier alternatives. So coconut sugar has a lower glycemic index, than table sugar, and you don't have to worry about the concern of glyphosate, which, yes, that is Roundup and is sprayed on a lot of our crops. Arrowroot flour and tapioca starch are great swaps for the GMO cornstarch, and then you can replace your imitation vanilla with pure vanilla extract. Then refined table salt is bleached. It has no nutrients. A lot of it contains anti-caking ingredients, and so a good switch for that is Celtic sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. And both of those contain important trace minerals and actually taste a lot better too. So we'll be sending this image, and it's a good one just to save on your phone as you're transitioning over to healthy ingredients. One more I wanted to point out was the chocolate chips. There's healthier versions, 2 brands I like, dairy-free, Enjoy Life, and then Hugh and Lily's is a refined sugar-free. So there's a lot of good options for baking goods. And the last thing I'm going to cover is the produce. Are you all familiar with the Dirty Dozen list? This is a list that's updated every year by the Environmental Working Group, EWG.org, and it lists the 12 fruits and vegetables that are the most highly sprayed with herbicides and pesticides. So that list on the left, that is where you would want to prioritize buying organic. And I was reading that last year's report, they actually, in one serving of kale and greens, they found 21 different pesticides. But there's also a clean 15 list. So the ones on the right are not usually sprayed. Those are good for you to buy conventionally. And we don't want to be overwhelmed or stressed out. I know that organic can be pricey and also sometimes unavailable. So just do the best that you can. But ideally, if we could grow our own food, that is going to be the best option and the most nutritious produce we can have. And so you see that little picture of the tower garden. You do not have to have a green thumb. It's a vertical aeroponic gardening system where you can grow your own fruits and vegetables and herbs right on your back patio or even inside your house with the grow lights. And we'll be sending some information more about the tower garden. But I'm going to turn it over now to Whitney.
Well, thank you, Allison. So our next healthy swaps are found in the kitchen, but it's not food like you may be expecting. Instead, we're going to talk about our cookware. I don't know about you all, but that's something that I wouldn't think of just as I'm cooking. What are the materials? Why are those important? So let's think about our cookware and how that's having an impact on our health. making the swap from a non-stick Teflon pan to something like cast iron, stainless steel, copper, or ceramic can really significantly improve our health. What we know is that the non-stick pans that are very convenient for our cleanup are not so healthy for us. They have a lot of chemicals that are coated on them, and then we're cooking our food in those, and then we're eating that food. So we know that we've seen that these things have been related to birth defects and even cancer. So we really want to try to make a switch or a swap when we can. So if you have some of that Teflon that's chipping or scratched, go ahead and ditch that and find a good replacement in one of these other options. We also know that glass food storage, we would prefer that over our plastics, especially when we are heating. So look at all of your plastic containers. Think about those plastics that get the stains in them. I know I've had those before. What about missing lids? Where do the lids go? So that's a great time just to get rid of that plastic and switch it out for a better option in glass. Even sometimes you can notice that plastics start melting. So really take a look at what you have. How are you storing food and how that could have an impact on your health, especially in the long term as we're exposed to these things and chemicals in a lot of different ways. What about your plastic spatula? So get rid of that, switch out for metal. When the time comes, you can make some of these replacements gradually as we've talked about how it's an expense. So don't let it overwhelm you. Just make small changes, and over time that can have a big impact. I know you may be thinking, wow, looking at this cookware, where would I even start? I want to give you just a couple of options that are good products that we know of. Again, you'll have access to this information. So one we know is Green Pan. Another is Caraway ceramic coated nonstick cookware, and then Extrema pure ceramic cookware. So those are just some places that you can start in your own research, looking in your kitchen at what are some small things that I can do that can make a big impact in the long term. Our next healthy swap is going to be our cleaners. Thinking about the things that we are using in our home on a daily basis to clean, to take care of those messes, and to keep our homes healthy. So your counters, your sink, your kitchen table, all of these are really high traffic areas. Little fingers are touching, we're preparing food on these counters. So it's a really good place that we can start swapping and getting rid of those toxins that are not healthy for our bodies. Vinegar is a great multi-purpose cleaner, and it's very budget friendly too, which is great for our wallet. So you can mix it with water, you can spray. I know a lot of people, may think, oh, vinegar, it has a smell, but the smell goes away quickly. And when we think about the fact that it's so much healthier, then really the smell is not a huge impact. You can find a cleaner like vinegar that's multi-purpose. You can see it's listed on several of these swaps for our floors and just sinks, windows. So you can get rid of a lot of your cleaning product and just use maybe one or two simple things that work for a lot of your household. A couple of good products that we would encourage you maybe to research are Force of Nature. They kind of do the hard mixing work for you so that your job in the home is easy. And then also Branch Basics are two good cleaners that you could look at to get rid of some of those very heavily toxic chemicals, and then replace it for something that's cleaner and healthier. You can be happy knowing that your family is breathing in better air and not being exposed to all these chemicals that are not good for us. Now I want to turn it over to one of our last, and I would say probably favorite swaps. And for that, I'm going to go back to Elaine.
Thank you so much, you guys. It gets me excited going back. I want to go back over all that with a fine tooth comb because I know there's some things I can keep swapping out. But one of the things that a swap that we made 23 years ago, which really has just changed the trajectory of our family's health, was a swap that started kind of sometimes when things happen in our life that at first can kind of jolt you a bit. Ours started back in 1999 when my husband and I decided that we were going to say, this is the year of health. We're going to focus on our health. And back then, the only thing I knew about health was to take a multivitamin and exercise every day. And so that's what we started doing. Well, about 3 months into it, my husband's getting his blood work done from some life insurance. And we get the report back from his blood work saying that his iron is dangerously high and he needs to go get it checked out. And that was a wake-up call for us because we looked at each other and the only thing we could think of was that we had started taking these vitamins. And so we got off the vitamins. My husband had his blood work done again, and his iron was back down into normal ranges, into a normal range. And so I thought, well, if being healthy isn't just taking a vitamin supplement and working out, what does it look like to be healthy? And that's when I really started digging in and trying to learn. And everything I looked at just kept coming back. Whole food nutrition, fruits, vegetables, berries. And I thought, well, we're not a junk food eating family, but if I really looked at what we ate, there's no way we were getting close to that 9 to 13 raw fruits and vegetables every day. And so the only thing I knew to do was to start juicing. Anybody else out there ever juiced? The Masons were not good at it. If you look at the picture of the lady, I was, juice would go everywhere. My sink would look like that with all those parts to the juicer in it. My husband traveled every week. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And literally, when I would put that glass of juice down in front of them, that would be the look I would get from them. And so, although the swap from synthetic vitamins to juicing was a pretty good swap, but it sure wasn't simple. It was tough. It was tough to stick to, although I knew we needed that whole food nutrition in our body. And I love that saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And it was at about that time someone introduced a product called Juice Plus to me. And it was whole food. It was 40 raw fruits, vegetables, berries packed into either capsule form or a gummy form. And I remember looking at that thinking, oh my goodness, this is a simple swap I could definitely get behind. But there was part of me that was like, but is it, I don't know anything about it. And the more I began to learn about this Juice Plus whole food concentrate, the more excited I got about this swap. And if you can almost imagine it, it was a medicine cabinet swap. And when I think about what it did for our family, if you would ask me, were we a healthy family? I would have said, absolutely. We're just a normal American family. But I remember a line by Dr. Mitra Ray, who says, who wants to be an average family, who wants to be average in a sick society? And looking back now, I see red flags were waving everywhere for our family, but I didn't realize it because that's kind of what everyone deals with. When I think about the swaps, we swapped from a vitamin supplement that was not only doing us any good, it was actually harming my husband because we don't know what our bodies need at any given time. That's why God gave us whole food, fruits, vegetables, and berries, because our bodies know what, once we put that whole food in, those raw materials, our bodies know what to do with it. I wish I would have known about Juice Plus to be able to have taken it when I was pregnant. So a lot of people take Juice Plus as prenatals. But when I look back at some of our issues, you know, I think about swapping out Juice Plus for laxatives. I mean, I was not a regular person at all, and I didn't think anything about it. And now I look back and think, oh my goodness. You know, I think about fish oils. I did read enough about fish oils that I was a little bit worried to take them. I knew our bodies needed them, but I also knew how toxic they were. And how wonderful when I learned about the Juice Plus having an omega. It's not that the fish have the omegas in it, it's what the fish eat. Juice Plus skips the fish, goes straight to the algae. Another thing, I look back when I think about the swap that I made, and it's almost until I started thinking about what I wanted to share that these things start coming back. I had chronic sinus infections. And I thought, well, it's because I moved from Ohio to Georgia. I don't need allergy medications. And now I don't need antibiotics anymore because I don't get the sinus infections. I think about back 23 years ago, dropping on the couch. You know, I'm 23 years older and I have more energy today than I did when I was in my early 30s. And that's because I've been fueling my body with this whole food nutrition that I don't need energy pills. Juice Plus gives me all those fruits and vegetables, 40 different raw fruits and vegetables going into my body every day. When I think about the juicing, at best, maybe we would get in 4, maybe 5 when I juiced. But, you know, my husband traveled. I can't send juice with him. And I was only scratching the surface. And if I wanted my girls to drink it, I had to do, I had to do predominantly fruit. But I knew they needed those vegetables to build their bones, their teeth, their muscles. They needed the whole colors of the rainbow. And so another thing that I forgot to put on here that I want to mention is I remember about 4 months into taking Juice Plus, I get a phone call from my husband, and we've been talking about the impact that adding this whole food nutrition to our bodies had done. And he said, Elaine, and I said, what? And he said, I just realized something else Juice Plus has been doing. And I'm like, what? And he goes, oh my goodness, I left my Juice Plus at home. He goes, I have heartburn like crazy. And it made me forget that prior to taking Juice Plus, he was eating Rolaids like they were candy. And why was that? Because he wasn't getting that raw fruits and vegetables in his body. And he was lacking the enzymes to help him digest his food. He probably wasn't eating very good food either, but anyway. And he just said, what a difference Juice Plus had made. And so as I look at all these things that Juice Plus has replaced, it reminds me of the value of whole food. And that truly is a swap that we want to make. I'm going to leave you with 4 things that really make Juice Plus unique from any other supplement out there. Number 1, it's the most thoroughly researched nutritional product in the world. And if you ask Suri that question, she'll back me up on it. I don't have to guess what it's going to do in my body. My body knows what to do with whole food. And I've got the research that says Juice Plus, it's going to impact every system, every organ, every function that's going on in your body, right down to the cellular level. Why is that? Because that's what we were intended to eat. Our bodies need the raw materials to be healthy, to protect against disease, to grow old gracefully, to protect our kids. I just thought of another one. My oldest would get whatever virus was going around the preschool, we were having to get an antibiotic to fight it. So that's another thing. I got to go update this. But anyway, so we know based on research what Juice Plus is going to do in our bodies. The second thing, it's NSF certified. NSF certification is the highest certification, and it stands for National Safety Foundation. What they're doing is looking after, in this whole supplement world, you know, what is protective and what's not. And so it's Juice Plus is, we invite NSF in to test our products to ensure nothing is in Juice Plus that shouldn't be in there. You know, even organic has yeast, mold, and bacteria in it, not Juice Plus, because we know we want the cleanest product out there and one that's going to have the most powerful punch. And that's what NSF certification is coming in on a regular basis to ensure that with Juice Plus. The third thing I've mentioned, whole food. It's not a supplement. It has a nutritional label, just like a head of broccoli or a bag of apples. And then lastly, which I love this about, and there's not another product in the world that gives away product to children for free. With every adult that gets on Juice Plus, that they can add a child, sponsor a child for free from the ages of 4 all the way through 25. A child can get Juice Plus for free. That is a commitment to the next generation. And when I think about having that kind of commitment, I wish I was taking Juice Plus when I was pregnant, because what I've learned is when I was pregnant, what I was eating was impacting my grandchildren. And to know that we partner with a company that cares about future generations enough to give away this product for free, that is huge. So in wrapping up, I want to say, get back with the person who invited you tonight. Let them know if you'd like to receive these slides and all the information you heard. And also ask them questions about Juice Plus, a very simple swap that could change the trajectory of your health. Thank you guys so much for being on the call. We'll take a few minutes. If you guys have some questions, we are more than happy to answer any questions. If you need to jump off, feel the freedom to do so, but thank you so much for joining us this evening. Are there any questions that anybody has? All right. Well, we are so grateful you've joined us. Put your phone number in the chat section, or let the person who invited you know that you want to receive these slides and information, and we will get them sent to you. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate everyone being on the call. Thank you to Whitney, Caitlin, and Allison for your knowledge and expertise. Great information.
Thank y'all.